Okay, game number 4 of 2024. Dave Parkinson tours. Never get used to saying that. So I've arrived in Keighley, making my way over to Cougar Park. Not been here for a couple of years actually, so looking forward to the game. It's always a venue I've been made to feel pretty welcome at. It's Keighley Cougars up against Castleford Tigers. Hoping that you're really enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying putting them together. So what's this one all about? Well, it's Keighley Cougars up against the Castleford Tigers. First game in charge for the Tigers for Craig Lingard. He's a former Keighley coach, by the way. And also it's the Jake Webster final game. Now he's had a really interesting career over here in the UK. For the likes of Castleford, for the likes of Hull Kingston Rovers, and well, he's been a really good servant actually to British Rugby League. So I'm just around the corner from Cougar Park. Let's go in there, shall we? That's Castleford here, nice and early. To Cougar Park these days is a bit poignant due to Danny Jones, who's so well and fondly remembered here. I remember speaking to Lizzie a few years ago when I was involved over at Lee East, and we got one of the defibrillators. Fantastic cause, but I wanted to share with you the plaque on the wall here. I'm joined by Craig Lingard. Craig, you know, what a good performance that was. Was you more pleased with the 54 or the nil?
A bit of both, really. I think it's always nice to get a nil on board, particularly. I think it's an improvement we were looking for last season, war being a bit more resilient, being more difficult to beat, and if you keep a 0 on the board, then you're not going to lose, are you? Which is it's really pleasing. I thought, you know, we had a lot of goal line defence to do, particularly in that first half, maybe 4, 5, 6 consecutive sets that we defended his own goal line. So pleased that we managed to turn them away, but also nice that we could put points on the board as well. Yeah, still lots of things to improve on from the performance, but you know, pleasing. We being his first run out on grass as well. It's the first time I've been on grass this year. All his training's been on 4G, so a lot of players were, you know, struggling a little bit early on, just trying to get used to the sort of conditions underfoot.
How do you build, you know, sort of like into from a pre-season into games really?
We do a lot of left v right, a lot of or try and build in 13 on 13 to try and get into sort of game situations. We did a training session against York last week with 4 15-minute quarters where we played 13 on 13, simulated takedown, not full contact. So you build it up gradually throughout that pre-season. The first block initially is about just getting the getting the fitness topped up and seeing where they are. I think we had maybe a little bit more of an intense pre-season than you normally would do, because we needed that again just to see what we've got with the personnel that have come in, the personnel that stayed, and you know, put them under a lot of fatiguing conditions and put them under a lot of duress as well, see how they cope, and they've coped really well. And these pre-season friendlies now, these are hopefully going to build us towards that first game against Wigan. And
to be fair, some of those new guys that really stood up, I was impressed with Lewis Johnson actually.
Yeah, Lewis played really well on that in that right side back row. You know, Alex Miller came off early on with a knee injury. He's going to get that scan tomorrow, so fingers crossed it's not as serious as it might be. But obviously we'll find that out. But you know, these players that have coming in, that, you know, the people that are looking for the chances, people to put their hand up now, and we've got a lot of people within our squad that are either new to Super League or that have been at other Super League clubs but not quite managed to nail a position down, and Lewis is one of them, and I thought he played really well today.
Out of interest, you know, because how are you treating this job at Castleford? Obviously you've made your name by coaching at places like this, and your long stint with Batley as well, and in a way, are you treating like the cast job as like you did at Batley by picking up perhaps players who have been overlooked elsewhere?
Yeah, you've got to. We know where we are as a club at the minute. You know, we finished second bottom last season, so we're not an attractive proposition for people to come to who want to be at the top end of the table, because we're not there yet. So the people that we need to look at are the people that are struggling or that have struggled elsewhere to make their name in the game or cement a position down. So we're looking for people that have got the right attitude, but have still got plenty of ability and plenty of potential to play and progress over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And that's why the age profiles come right down. We've brought some people in from Championship that have not played Super League before. I've brought a lot of people in from Super League that have played probably less than 20, 30 Super League games. So there's a lot of unknowns within the group. But what we've got a real good, energetic group of players that want to play and want to get better. And you know, I much prefer coaching them sort of players than people at the end of their career that are looking for a last payday. It's been real good working with these guys this pre-season. And
it was nice to see, you know, lads like you know, Josh Hodson, who you'll know pretty well, and Luke Cooley, who again another player that you'll know well, stepping up and looking comfortable out there really.
Yeah, they did, and you know, there's no disrespect to Keith, but Keith are currently in League One, and you know, it'll be different next week playing against London. Difficult, well, a different a couple of weeks after that when we play Huddersfield, then even more difficult and different when we play Wigan that first game of the season. So we're under no illusions that this pre-season, this pre-season victory against Keighley isn't going to define our season. So we can't get ahead of ourselves. There's still loads and loads of improvement we need to get into from that performance, but it's a real good first step on that ladder to get into where we want to be.
No, not like myself, Craig. You're a little bit of a rugby league stato.
Yeah.
So it must be quite nice, coming and you've got someone like Jake Webster who's given his all to the game. He's had such a lengthy career. Must be nice to be part of an occasion like this.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to sort of recognise people that have had a real good, long, successful career in the game, particularly over in the UK, like Jake has. He's been around a few clubs in the UK, but Castleford and Keith where he's finished his playing career. I think it's a real good send off for him. It was due last year, but it got postponed because of the weather conditions, and we were pleased and delighted to honour that fixture this year as well. So hopefully Jake's had a real good day and a good send off, and the crowd singing his name at the end there is just reward for what he's done during his career. Yeah,
I think he was the most popular guy as he was coming off. It took him about 25 minutes to get back to the sheds.
So you've got to milk it, haven't you? You've got to milk
it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Best of luck for the rest of pre-season, going into the season now.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, I'm pleased to be joined by Charlie Graham. Charlie, how was that for you? It's a really tough encounter, that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game. It's good to be out there on the field, obviously, with everyone, especially for Jake's not his debut, for his last game. But yeah, I mean, first half, I think we obviously played well, very composed. I think, obviously, us against the ref a little bit on what we needed to do, and just lack of composure with play the balls, silly things which obviously cost us a little bit. Second half, I think, just obviously took us a little way. But I mean, all in all, I don't think it was a bad performance. There's a lot of little things to obviously fix up, but I mean, it's a good starting point going into the season, really.
Yeah, sadly you fell a little bit foul of the sort of different interpretations around the play of the ball, particularly first 15 minutes, because I don't think you touched the ball other than when you had it and then turned it over.
No, I mean, I think we did about 100 tackles in the first 15 minutes. But I mean, that's the thing. New rules, new things that we've obviously got to encounter, and we've obviously got to fix up, really.
How are you finding it down here? Because you've been here, about 3-4 years now?
Yeah, around about 3-4 years. Loving it, still loving it. As I said, it's a club which has a lot of passion about it. It's always a club where, when you're in different environments, you kind of lose touch with rugby in a sense, but this is a club where you come down, you've always got a smile on your face, and you're wanting to train with everyone around you, and you're wanting to play with the people that you're around.
You mentioned about Jake. What's it been like having him as a teammate, first of all, for the last couple of years, and then with the job that he's now doing with the Cougars?
Punish. No, I'm joking. He's been a great asset to obviously the club. What he's brought with his experience throughout his whole career, really, bringing it towards us has been a massive favour. I mean, his new job role as well. I mean, he's doing fantastic for the club. He's helping a lot of people out. So it's great to still have him on board, even if he's playing or not playing, really.
And then I was thinking as well, where does this sit now with your pre-season heading into like the I was going to call it Northern Rail Games, where it's the 1895 Cup. That shows how long I've been around, doesn't it?
I know. No, I mean, we're excited. It's always difficult to base performance on pre-season games. There's always people that obviously go 100%, which you should always do if you're wanting to get that shirt. Then there's always people cautious about injuries and not going full percentage. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a benchmark. It's a setting piece of where we're going, what we can improve on, where we slack, and what obviously we can take into going into the season. But I mean, pre-season games are pre-season games. Look at us 2 years ago in League One when we got absolutely thrashed by Swinton. Obviously on pre-season, came back, had that unbeaten season. Pre-season games, they mean a lot and they don't mean a lot at the end of the day, because it's a lot of take and give. You get a lot of experience out of it, but then also you can fix up what you need to fix up going into the season.
It's supposed to get you out there, don't they?
Yeah.
And then sort of like you start getting
your body
muscle memory again.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, so you've got another pre-season game next week. Who's that against, and what are you expecting?
Obviously Halifax. I mean, played them last year. They're a good side. We know what they're going to do. We know what they're like and how they play. So it's about going into this week's training, learning, getting better, and obviously progressing as a team and knowing what we need to do, really.
Well, I've made it back to the car, and well, it was a resounding performance in the second half from Castleford Tigers. They scored 7 tries in total, keeping the Cougars to nil. It finished 54-0. A couple of tries from Innis Senior, a couple of tries from Hodson. Generally, they were very, very good in the second half. Keighley again kept plugging away, had a couple of opportunities, but ultimately the Tigers were very, very clinical. It's overall been a really interesting day. There was some good-natured boos right at the end when Jake Webster, he came back on and he got held up close to the line. They wouldn't give him that final try. Perhaps his efforts deserved, but what a good servant he's been to British Rugby League since coming over. Right, I'm going to hit the road. I've just sent my match report to League Express, so you'll be able to read all about the game and certainly what's happened. And I look forward to my next assignment. Thank you for joining me.